Hey, founders. Hello. It's Tanya here. Welcome. Happy New Year. It is the first Friday of the new year, January 5th, 2024. And I'm excited to change things up this year. I know working with a lot of you, there's a lot of expectations to get uncomfortable with numbers, and I'm getting uncomfortable with video this year. So here we go. I wanted to share with you three really important tips on building a budget that you can bank on this year. And before I jump into those, I'm going to share with you three insights on why building a budget is so important. And these are going to be three insights that I suspect go above and beyond what it is that you are thinking I am about to say here. So if we backtrack for just a second, I want you to recognize that our vision here at Nail the Numbers, why I established this financial training company, is to ensure that founders like you actually buy into your greatness. We live in a society where there's this narrative around us being small business owners, which I believe has cost us. And it is what has kept us charging a small price, paying ourselves a small wage, generating a small net profit. So, our vision here in this training academy is to ensure that you buy into your greatness. Now, what happens is that when you buy into your greatness, your business starts to reflect that greatness. And then, because numbers are the language of business and are really a reflection of what's happening in the business, your numbers then reflect that greatness. So, just to summarize that piece, numbers are a reflection of what's happening in the business. The business is a reflection of you owning your greatness. So, as for three insights, here's what a budget will actually do. A budget is really, it is just when it's built properly, and I'll share that with you in a moment, it is going to show you step by step, month after month, number after number, how you will start to own that greatness. It comes in small bite sizes, it comes in small steps. And so the numbers will pave the path. That's what a budget is showing you. It is showing you how you're going to achieve the greatness. And then when you see that, now you have a new energy of, I now see how this is possible. So instead of it being abstract and I have no idea how I'm going to achieve these goals, you now have a goal and you can start to see exactly how it's going to be achieved. The second piece of building a budget, there's one thing to build a budget, it's a very different thing to balance a budget. And a big part of balancing a budget every month, if not every week, is to actually sit down and balance it. So we call that measurement. And when you sit down and actually measure where you're at according to plan with your numbers, you're actually measuring where have you risen to your greatness and perhaps where have you fallen a little short. This year for me is all about videos and connecting with you in a very different way, which is about me rising in an effort to connect. So we all have areas of opportunity for growth. So measurement of those numbers is actually really showing you where have you risen to the occasion, and again, where have you fallen short? Where is there an opportunity to develop in the next month that follows suit? The third insight is what we call allocation. So for every dollar that comes into your business, it should actually be allocated. It comes in and it goes out, but it goes out with intention. So that money is either going to go out to your direct cost, it's going to go out to your indirect costs, or it's going to go out to your net profit. And of course, we also have taxes. So for every dollar that comes in, a dollar is supposed to go out. That dollar gets allocated. When we sit down and actually allocate those funds, that is the equivalent of personal accountability. It's us being accountable to own that greatness. Dollar comes in, dollar goes out. We call it reverence at Nail the Numbers. It's a respect for the money that's coming in, and it's showing money that we can trust it as much as it can trust us. So those are three core insights on why building the budget, aside of just the numeracy piece of it, is actually critical to you owning that greatness. Now, when it comes to three key tips on building a business you can bank on, they're actually going to mirror those three insights. So the first tip is to build the budget. right? Like don't put it on your to-do list and build it halfway into the year. Get it built now, and we can help you with that, right? But build it. Now, if you're going to build it on your own, I'm going to suggest that you build with the end in mind. So think about, where do you want your business to be at the end of 2024? What do you want your sales to look like? What do you want your cost of goods to look like? What do you want your income, your personal income, your salary to look like? And what do you want your net profit to look like? You then take those goals and you reverse engineer them over the next 12 months so that you can show that scale on how you're going to achieve those goals step by step by step. The second piece falls into the bucket of measurement. So under measurement, here's what I'm going to recommend you do: that you actually schedule once a month, and not at the end of the month, but probably that third week, maybe end of the second week into the beginning of the third, to sit down and take a look at, where have you risen to the occasion of owning your greatness, and perhaps where have you fallen short? Have you maybe procrastinated on sales? Maybe it's something to do with leadership. Maybe it's a prioritization of time. If you did not hit your goal, what has prevented you from doing that? And start to make adjustments in that month versus waiting to the end of the month to completely miss the goal altogether. The next item I want you to schedule is every quarter, schedule at least an hour. So again, not at the very end of a quarter, but in this case, what would be March 15th, right? To take some time, sit down and look at the last 3 months. And it's at that point, if you want to change your forecast going forward, aka a budget going forward, you change it quarterly, not every month, because then it just becomes hard to manage and it becomes a little overwhelming. So that's my second suggestion to you: is schedule the time to review your budget both monthly and then quarterly. And my third tip falls in line with the allocation. So this is where we start making sure that we've got the right bank account set up, so that for every dollar that comes in, it's going to go into its very specific bucket. Because believe it or not, once it's out of that operating bank account and we don't see it, it holds us to a very different standard of owning our greatness, AKA going to go generate that income that's necessary. So the three accounts, well, four accounts in total. We've got our typical operating account where all your money comes in and a good chunk of your money is going to go out, your indirect costs / operating expenses. And then you've got a holding account number one, which is for what we call in our direct costs, or a direct cost. So these are material costs. These are the costs that you incur that are directly related to what you sell. In many cases, this can be your inventory or your raw materials. It might be your merchant fees. But for every product or service you sell, there's a direct cost attached to it. That money really doesn't belong to us. That is needed for future use. So we just set it aside into holding account number one. Holding account number two is probably, you guessed it, for taxes, sales tax, income tax, source deductions. That money does not belong to us. Let's get it out of our account and into holding account number two. And lastly, holding account number three. That is for our net profit. Our net profit is also known as our savings, and eventually it's going to be our investment account. On our balance sheet, it's called our retained earnings. And net profit should not be the afterthought, it should be the forethought in all of this. So there's the bottom line this week. The three key tips on building a budget that you can bank on. One, get it built backwards and bottoms up. Two, make sure that you're measuring it both monthly and quarterly. And then three, make sure that every dollar that's coming in is being allocated to the right bucket. Get it out of that operating account and hold yourself to a different standard. So there you go, founders. I hope that was helpful. Go make your weekend count, forge your fierce, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.